What up, YouTube? My name is Sharice. Welcome to Reese TV. Glad that you're here. And welcome to another episode of Makeup News, where I do my makeup as I give the news. So, without further ado, let's make up as I give the news. There was so much that happened while I was away, and I apologize. Life got really busy, and then I got unwell. I don't want to say that I got sick because I didn't feel sick, or more so, I refused to be sick, if that made any sense at all. I mean, I had this sinus pressure, and then I went to Utah to film. And then that sinus pressure just turned into like full on mucus. And then I got through it. I got through the filming, and then I got home, and I just didn't feel well. I felt like I had to fall over, and then I just kept on drugging up myself in order to get through the day. And so I just didn't feel well enough to do this, even though I was still doing my makeup. I just didn't feel well enough to do this while I did my makeup because I was just barely hanging in there just to do my makeup. You know, I mean, humans, despite how good we are at multitasking, we aren't meant to multitask. Anywhoozle, so let's talk. What do we have to talk about? So, Jonathan Majors, the day that we were waiting for happened, and then nothing happened. Well, actually, it was postponed. The defense motioned for the verdict to be set aside, basically saying, hey. So, long story short, what we knew happened. The prosecutors had a finish line, and they put that finish line a little bit further than what it was. So, as we know, the prosecutors were saying, oh, he intentionally meant to hurt her. He intentionally abused her. And then they turned around and said to the jurors, hey, we're going to give you 4 different options. 2 of those options mean that he really didn't mean to hurt her. And guess what? They chose the options of he didn't really mean to hurt her. But throughout the whole trial, they said he meant to hurt her. So it was just unfair, right? So like, how can he fight against something that no matter what, he's going to lose? Did he mean to hurt her? No. So now he's going to be convicted for not meaning to hurt her. Does that make any sense? No. So they set the standard for no matter what, Jonathan Majors was going to lose, and that wasn't fair. So the judge agreed and basically said, okay, well, I'm going to come up with a verdict come April. I'm happy that it was pushed back to April because honestly, you're coming up with a verdict for a black man in February? Black History Month? Come on. Give us a break. Unless you are setting him free, give us a break. So, in other news, Rhett and Link are saying goodbye to YouTube. So, okay, we're starting to see a trend, right? I feel like MatPat started a trend, and all of our favorites are following. I haven't seen their goodbye, but I did see the news that they're saying goodbye. And it's like, dag, man, are any one of you guys staying? No? Okay, that's fine. But thank you for what you did for us. Thank you for the laughs. Like literally, my children were listening to a rap battle of geek versus nerd the other day. And I was like, oh, that's Rhett and Link. And yeah, it's like, man, it's been a minute since I heard that one. Man, they're all leaving. How are we feeling? How are we feeling, millennials, that all of our people are leaving? How do we feel? Like Black Nerd Comedy, I'm looking at you. Don't you leave. I think after everything is said and done, I feel like Philip DeFranco might be the last to leave if he does leave. Like, I feel like Philip DeFranco is going to get gray. Like, I think he's just going to look like Anderson Cooper at the end of his YouTube run. That's what I think is going to happen. So, let's see here. We talked about Rhett and Link. We talked about Jonathan Majors. And now let's talk about a little bit of music. So, if you guys remember, I'm actually a NSYNC Justin Timberlake fan. So, I wasn't too happy about what happened between him and Britney. It was just more so about it coming out. I feel like that was private, you know, like abortion is a private thing, you know, if that is your decision, that's your decision. But I do wonder, at what point is it not my body, my choice? And I ask this question because a lot of persons were getting at Justin Timberlake for Britney making the decision for not having the baby. Like, yeah, she blamed it on him to a degree, but at the same time, like what I saw was that he actually had both of their careers in mind. Like, they were both teeny boppers, and their brand was celibacy. They were both supposed to be virgins, and they were both supposed to be a positive influence to all teens to wait until marriage. Even though they bought a house together, they were still waiting till marriage. When I heard that, I was like, that don't sound right. Like, how are you doing that? Like, how are you staying in the same house and still staying virgins? That doesn't make sense. Not at all. But I remember trying to make sense of it. Like, it was big enough for both of them to basically stay in their corners and not do anything to each other. But she even said that Justin Timberlake actually set her free by making it public via SNL that they had relations. So I feel like that was just so overlooked at the news that, oh no, he made her get an abortion. He didn't make her get an abortion. She chose to get an abortion because he said that he doesn't want to be a father. But there are plenty of fathers, there are plenty of sperm donors who don't want to be fathers. And it's your body, your choice. You can make a decision as to whether or not you want to raise a baby on your own. That's all on you. All in all, that is your choice, right? That is what we are preaching. That is what we are teaching, is that my body, my choice. If I want to have the baby, then that is my choice. Unfortunately, things could happen that you're like, man, I really can use some child support. Because now, at that point, Justin Timberlake could say, well, I didn't ask for the baby, so I shouldn't have to pay for it. That's a sticky subject. I am definitely pro, just don't have sex unless you are ready for whatever that comes out. That's what I'm pro. But if you decide that you want to do birth control, that is your business. That has nothing to do with anybody else. But please talk to a doctor as to how to properly use birth control, because a lot of us, a lot of women are uneducated as to birth control. I learned after having my first kid that you're only supposed to do birth control, a particular birth control, for 6 months at a time. And then after 6 months, you're supposed to go to your doctor, be reevaluated, and then they'll tell you as to what other type of birth control to do. Because guess what? Your body gets used to a particular type of birth control. So in order to stop your body from getting used to that birth control, you need to do something different every 6 months. Another thing about birth control that I found that some people don't know, penicillin does stop the effects of birth control. So beware, don't try to have relations during, if you are taking penicillin or antibiotics, because hey, you can get pregnant. So in related news about Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears, Britney's news stopped the tour that we were all looking for, which was the NSYNC tour. We all wanted the NSYNC tour to happen. We did. And at the same time that NSYNC was finally getting together, Britney Spears decided to drop her book. And it's like, I dislike you. You just took everything from Justin and just said, yeah, F you. But, I mean, in truth, a lot of sympathy went to her. And it makes sense. Because for years, she was basically silenced. And then, all of a sudden, she has a voice. And she did a lot with that voice. She went after everybody. I feel like nobody was safe. Like, nobody. Anybody who had any type of relationship with her, even her little sister, they were burned in that book. And her burning of her sister, maybe it's because I'm a little sister. I didn't appreciate that. Like, she basically called her sister a spoiled brat. And it's like, well, duh, she's the little sister. That's her job. And it's like, so give me other news, because your sister wasn't as successful as you were when it came to a career in entertainment. Like, you did awesome in, well, not to say that she's the best singer. I'm not saying that, but I enjoy a good amount of her songs pre-head shave. I enjoyed a good amount of her songs. And her sister did a very good job when it came to acting. Like, Britney tried to get into acting, and then I saw that she reportedly just didn't like acting. Long story short. But then Justin Timberlake basically got over it. And he's like, okay, yeah, I'm going to come out with an album and I'm going to do a tour. And Britney gave her seal of approval by saying that I'm sorry for everybody that I hurt with my book, which no, she wasn't really sorry because we see her actions later on. But in true Sagittarius fashion, she said that I'm sorry for anybody that I hurt with my book, and I am very much, long story short, I wish Justin well. Okay. So fast forward, Justin supposedly responds in a concert saying, I apologize to absolutely no one. Honestly, that feels like something that came from his wife that basically says, F everyone. Because ever since the Janet Jackson incident, they've been on him saying, oh, he should have done more. And then I found out recently that it was just more so Janet Jackson didn't bend the knee, which I understand there was a reason why she didn't bend the knee. I don't truly understand why exactly, but it just sounds like the person who was over the whole production was pretty grimy. Long story short, that's what I understand of it. So she didn't bend the knee and she was basically blackballed while Justin Timberlake was not. So I actually feel like that came from his wife. I mean, honestly, that's what I would tell my husband to do. Like, tell everybody just to F off. And even his concert sounds like he's just saying F it. The concert is called Forget Tomorrow Tour. Yeah, just put F, the curse word F, instead of forget. And you have his reaction to just basically everything right now. That's where he is in true Aquarius form. And Aquariuses are pretty much peaceful. They really don't mean harm. They don't. Unfortunately, them being laid back does make people feel a little bit uneasy. Anyway, so real quick, Jay-Z, OMG. I enjoyed that speech so much. I did. I actually did want to do some more research about what exactly goes into the album of the year. Because honestly, I don't think Taylor Swift has bangers all the way through her album. I don't think Beyonce has bangers all the way through her album, especially not now. Like ever since Lemonade, I've just have been like, Beyonce. I mean, I've never considered myself a Beyonce fan, right? I feel like I'm a fan of something if I can go through your whole album and not skip anything. And there are very few artists that I feel that way about. Feel like Linkin Park. I know that's out of the way, but Linkin Park is one of them. I can go through Linkin Park and I could feel all the feelings just all the way through. Like I love their albums and their albums rhyme, you know, so they don't really come out with anything too new in sound. But it is a question, like, how are you going to have the most Grammys, but you don't have Album of the Year Grammy? That doesn't make sense. So I'm with Jay-Z on that. And then at first I was like, well, maybe he's just feeling a certain way about Beyonce because that's his boo. Of course he's going to feel a certain way about her. But I did do some research and I found out that he actually did boycott the Grammys one year when DMX had #1 in 2 albums on the Billboard. And he got no Grammys, not even a nomination. But Jay-Z got a nomination and Jay-Z boycotted that year. So Jay-Z is about that business. He is not just, hey, they offended me, I need to say something about it. He is not. He is about the whole culture. He is about everything. But anyway, my makeup is done and I really, really gotta go. So until next time, I will catch you later. Goodbye. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.